Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Admiral Markets. We're going to take a look at Forex trading, Forex charts together in this session. And specifically, we're going to take a look at a theme. We'll take a look at what that theme is in just a second. I think it's reversal trading, if I remember correctly, but we'll take a look together. First of all, though, before we start the charting, the risk disclaimer explaining that trading for exchange is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational purposes only. So I'll give you there a couple of a short while to take a look at this risk disclaimer, but it's the same risk disclaimer as always, just warning you of the risks involved when trading and global financial markets, and whatever you see in this webinar is just for educational purposes to show you how I look at the charts, but of course that always, your actual trading remains always your decisions. Alrighty, good, thank you for your attention on that. So a quick trading plan before we start. It always depends on which topic we have of the day or which focus, but in general a fast or easier trading plan to explain, of course, in a minute is something like this: defining a trend, searching for opportunity, looking for filters to see if any trade can be blocked or blocked or hindered from reaching the target, for example. Step 4 would be the establishing the trigger, and step 5 the entry. The difference between those is, for example, a trigger could be a fib, but the entry could be actually a candlestick pattern at the fib. Alrighty, so let's take a look. Here it is. Go to admiralmarkets.com, go to education, and then we have the webinars, and there you can take a look at all the videos in the archive, but also sign up for the live webinars by clicking on this blue button. And today we have reversal trading indeed. Good. Other thing we can take a look at is this calendar. We have FOMC today, statement, and 11 hours, 12 minutes, and we have an interest rate announcement 12 hours from now on the Kiwi. That's already for people in New Zealand tomorrow, I would believe, so that would be Thursday for them. Otherwise, in our session, we have 12 minutes Spanish retail sales, so let's see, hopefully some upside for Spain. And in hour 12, we have Italian and M3 money, some lower impact news events. Good. Let's take a look at the charts then. Let's start and take a look at the euro dollar. Euro dollar still actually hanging in there, doing nothing. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see that the volatility is pretty low. Yesterday we had that small drop down to the 50 fib that we were talking about yesterday. Remember, I said if there is a downside, it will just be a small one from basically from the 38.2 to the 50 fib. That's what happened. And we bounced off the 50 fib to the upside. How far did we bounce? Not too far, because from the hourly perspective, we hit the 50 fib, then reversed up, and we basically stopped at the previous resistance, which, considering the point of time in the day, which was around 4 p.m. London, that is actually quite logical, because when London closes, the ability for the euro dollar to move a lot definitely decreases. So not surprising that after that we went into consolidation. So yesterday we basically had a drop and rise day on the euro, which from a daily perspective, if we look at the daily candle, means that, well, we had a small bearish day, but we also have a decent wick at the bottom here. So that looks like we had bearish pressure on the daily with these wicks. We got the downside, but we also found support at the 50. So I wouldn't be surprised if today would be a bullish candle based on that. So something like that could happen. How far could it go? Difficult to say. With FOMC around the corner, it could be quiet till that moment. And of course, the FOMC statement itself will have definitely an impact. So that will be always a bit tricky to identify how that will factor in and how that will impact and influence the euro dollar. I guess technically speaking, it is set up for an upside move, in my opinion. If the FOMC statement supports that, then I would expect decent upside. If it doesn't, then maybe we see some volatility up and down between current level and the 61.8 around 136.10. So let's see. Then maybe after the FOMC effect is away, then we could see maybe a bounce after 61.8. Technically though, it definitely looks to me still like a bounce off a daily trend line, an impulse, and just a correction, which means that if we break that trend line we had on the chart yesterday, this one, that we have a chance to have a good breakout to the upside upon the break of that purple line. We still might want to wait for the break of, depends, we could take the immediate break of this trend line, but there's still some resistance obviously around 136.90. All right, so there's maybe a gap from 136.70 to 139. Sorry, let me do it precise. 136.70 indeed to 136.90. It's just a small one, and then if we break 136.90, then we could maybe see more acceleration. What will be the target? The target of the upside, in my opinion, is the minus 272 at 138 for the moment. Then after that, it could go up to 138.90, and if it breaks 138.90, well, that we're talking about, 140, 143, but that's something that might take quite a while before that happens, right? So not too important at the moment. Downside, not too interested because of the upside at the moment, but if it does move down, watch out for these support levels. Those could still be bouncing spots for upside. So initial targets, if you do trade anything to the downside, is would be that 136.10. So today's theme is reversal trading, but of course we can only do reversal trading if the conditions are ripe for reversal. And well, from the hourly perspective, I don't see anything that shows weakness. I don't see any weakness to the upside. This is a strong oscillator reading on the 1 hour chart. So we need divergence. If we do have divergence between these tops, that's something maybe different. But at the moment, nothing of the sort. Also the 4 hour chart, nothing of the sort. We actually had a reversal trade here. We were in a downtrend on this 4 hour chart, right? But we had divergence between these bottoms. Do you see that? This bottom compared with this bottom, compared to these oscillator bottoms, right? Price made a lower low, but oscillator made a lower, higher low, which means divergence, and that's why we probably, one of the reasons why we saw this bigger bounce. How about higher time frames? Is there any reversal potential here? Maybe, right? We do have that potential. I'm personally still bullish, but I'm also aware that there could be that potential if we zoom out. Let me show you. It's the weekly chart, okay? And price action isn't really confirming it as yet, because if you look at the weekly candle, last week was a bullish candle, right? And if we zoom out again, we see an uptrend on the euro-dollar weekly chart, right? So is there a reversal potential? Maybe. We do have divergence between the weekly tops. And also we have, if you look at the monthly, we have a trend line coming in like this, and price respected that, plus it respected the 61.8 fib of this last downside. That could be a potential turning spot for downside. Now, of course, tapering would have to kick in pretty decently to see this happen. I would say. Personally, I'm also more inclined to think that we get a breakout up to the 786 or 886, which then would be reversal fibs. I would like a reversal from those fibs even better. But there's a small chance, of course, or small to a decent chance that this could be it, although I think the 786 or 886 fibs have a higher probability. So from that perspective, there could be, with the weekly divergence in play at the moment, there is a chance that if we break, of course, this purple line, we could fall. So that would be the reversal trade, in my opinion, a break below purple. Of course, there could be the potential for this to be already the start of the reversal, and this is actually a correction for more downside. But then, even then, I still think there's a decent chance to retest this top higher before we get this. So this move up seems pretty decent, and then is the question, do we bounce off this trend line all the way back, or do we break to the upside? And if we move all the way back, do we then move up, or do we break to the downside? So this is the path of least resistance. If we get a small downside, I would expect upside. If we break the purple, smaller purple here, where I have the orange line, I would expect an upside up to test the trend line again and this top. Then we have small downside and break, or complete downside down to the lower purple, bounce and break, bounce or break spot again. So we got two bounce or break spots, either the higher purple or lower purple. And we're about halfway now. So for the moment, I'm treating this as just a retracement from our upside, but I do have clear levels that I'm keeping an eye on to see if that basic analysis will get confirmed or will change. Let's see, I got a question from Siva. FOMC effect is not only the dollar or your dollar, but it's definitely on dollar yen, it's definitely on pound dollar, odd USD too, basically all dollars, but yes, all dollars. All dollar pairs would have an effect. But you would probably see the most volatility, I would say, in pound dollar, then probably dollar yen and euro dollar, or all of those three, in fact, most likely. Let's take a look at the wave count. Way's asking for the wave count on the hourly. Let's take a look. On the hourly, I have this as a 1, 2 green, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 completed for green 3. This looks like a green 4 for a green 5 to come. Right, so this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Classical 5 waves so far. In the bigger picture, to me, this is looking like a magenta W, magenta X finished here, in my opinion. With this downside, as I said, I'm treating this as a correction. So I'm expecting magenta Y higher. How high? Let's take a look. Let's see. Yes, I'm expecting one second, folks. Yes. So if this is one correction, I'm down to the 50 fib, right? From a weekly perspective, this could be one wave, this could be a second wave, this could be a third wave. up to the 786. So one fib we can put on is from here to here. The minus 272 target is at 141.70, but I think the 786 would be the real target. If we then zoom into the last wave up, then we have potential three waves too. 1, 2, 3 of this three wave up. So if we zoom into the daily, what do we have here? A potential 1, 2, 3, right? Or WXY. So if we look at that, we hit the 50 fib to the penny. You see that? Right to the penny. Let me take off the bigger fib. What would be the target of that? 141.20 is the minus 272, and minus 618, 144.90. Let me zoom out to the weekly again, and we can see that there's not a great confluence between the targets and fibs here at the moment. So that's a pity. Maybe I have the fib wrong, but for the moment, all these 4 or 3 are targets. These are pretty close by. And with that said, we can even put a fib on this part now up. And we had a 618 bit bounce, right? Right there, 618 bounce. So that target also here above, so well above the 140. Then this would be one part of the WXY, and then within Y, basically, we would have, again, WXY. So what we saw on the 4-hour chart, that was this last part. So that's what I'm expecting. Let's see if that indeed turns out to be true. Alrighty. How about that pound dollar? Let's take a look. Pound dollar. We're in a triangle at the moment. Something like this currently. From a 4-hour perspective, definitely an uptrend. No doubt about that. But we are recently here making some kind of consolidation with a big spike down, big spike up, big spike down like this. So we'll have to see which way it can break out. For me, a break of this purple line could be a potential reversal trade, or if it does move up with the trend, then we would need to see some exhaustion around this trend line or this top, the red top there. That is a weekly resistance, so that is a very key level. If we see exhaustion anywhere in this zone between 167, 166.90, and 167.40, that would be maybe a great sell reversal trade for a pretty decent downside potential, because that is a weekly resistance. So that's one reversal potential I like a lot from on the pound dollar here, right? From a higher point, from a higher level to trade it from the weekly resistance spot. Very nice. If we don't get that far, which is possible maybe, we don't have divergence between the 4-hour tops here, so there's no divergence, which doesn't help the reversal idea that much. But also we're in a nice uptrend channel, as you can see, indicated by these red. So obviously, for a real downside to happen, we would need to break probably below 163.18. We can see a fall down to 160.50 maybe, 160, something like that. And then if we break that, we can see maybe bigger extensions down. But for the moment, it's definitely bullish, especially around this level again here. 163.20 has been almost impossible to crack so far. Down to the 4 hours, so there could be a reversal trade back down to the bottom of the daily uptrend channel, but that seems to be a bit of a risk to me. I would rather sell it from higher than upon the break of this trend line. Let's take a look. I would need to break, yeah, any break of this trend line could see a fall though down to the 61.8, for example. That could see a fall if you break 165.34 to 164.44. That could be an intraday reversal trade, and then we bounce off the 618 to move up to 167, and then we move down again. As I said, I like this selling zone up higher better than this smaller sell because the potential, I think, is limited to the downside. Whereas higher, the potential seems to be better. The trade I like the most at the moment from this on this pair is a break to the upside here, or a bounce from 61.8. Yeah, that's about it. So euro pound. Still stuck in these two levels basically. Difficult because we're in a daily downtrend, but we had a pretty massive 4-hour up move and now in a consolidation. So there's no great trend happening. There is a downtrend on the daily. Is there reversal potential for the euro pound to go up? Maybe. We do have divergence between these daily bottoms, right? So that's definitely a good thing, important to have from a reversal perspective. Let's take a look at the 4-hour again and 1 hour. Maybe we have 5 waves in here, which would help support the fact that this could be a retracement from our upside. If that is true, we can put a fib from top to bottom. And it seems like we stopped at the 618. So the 786 and 886, if this is a reversal potential for the euro to make a gain against the pound for one more upside, it could do so from 618 or these fibs. And the target for the moment would be the minus 618. And the minus 618 is at 83.90. All right. So maybe if we break above this green here, this one, the green line there, we could see a reversal trade start. That would mean more euro strength than pound at the moment. Let's take a look at the CAD because I think we have some interesting CAD trade ideas this morning maybe. The CAD weakening yesterday with a good break to the upside here, right to the top. So we can take off this downside fib. We never got the bigger retracement. And as I said yesterday, take a look at this trend line, right? If that breaks, then we're probably breaking to the upside. If it doesn't, right, we might see some continuation to this level, which would be a bullish zone. So we did break that purple trend line, and we made a nice move up from the break up to the previous top. Now we're getting again a consolidation, which means that there's really not much of a reversal going on. And to me, it looks more like a consolidation. If it would have been a reversal, I think we would have seen more of a double close and reverse like this, and then we would have seen the bear flag. In that case, I would have been more comfortable with taking a reversal trade. It is a potential double top, indeed, although in my definition, we still have time on our side for upside continuation. Basically, what I mean is that if you look at the daily chart, this is the 1, 2, 3rd day. If we don't break this top by 15 pips or more today or tomorrow, then it is double top. But for the moment, it just seems like a respect for the resistance. There was not enough power and momentum at the end of the day yesterday to push to that level, to push to that top. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that will turn into a reversal. It doesn't have to, in my opinion. So I would say that this is still trending up, and this has a potential to continue to the upside. It would definitely be better to break this high. From a 50-minute perspective, there's even a potential to trade it right here upon the break of this this trend line, basically. And we have maybe a triangle like that, and the break of this could be the break of that smaller triangle. It's a bit risky because of the top close by, indeed. That's true. But to me, it looks like a consolidation. The consolidation itself is just indeed being, it's basically appearing, right, close to a top. So that always makes it a bit more scary in a way, and justly so. But there's still the potential for it to be a breakout and continue. I think there's a decent chance. Let's see. Pound CAD. Here too, a decent chance for the pound CAD to continue. We're having a breakout of this triangle as well to the upside, like that. So that too situation the same in a way. Here too, we did stop at that resistance spot, and after that, hitting this top, we're also making consolidation above the moving averages. So it is a bit more difficult in the sense that we have a resistance close by and we have an uptrend. So those are creating kind of a squeeze. Those two, that happens more often if you have, for example, resistance or support and a trend clashing. One of the two is going to win. Either the support or resistance or the trend is going to break through that. The pound CAD is maybe a bit better than the dollar CAD in the sense that the pound dollar is still an uptrend, and also from this perspective there's about 60 pips to the top again. So there's a bit more space upon the break of this pound CAD. The euro CAD too has something similar. The euro CAD is a bit different because it broke the top by about 20 pips. So we could put a fib like this to this. This is not double top because it broke more than 15, according to the technical analyst's handbook, though, at least. Therefore, I put a pending order at the 61.8 fib yesterday before I went to bed, with the anticipation that during the Asian session we get a consolidation and then hopefully a bounce. That's what happened. Let's take a look at that. I like the EuroCAD the most because it at least broke the top by 20 pips. So I put a pending order at, I wanted to put a pending order at 152. I eventually put it at 152.06 because I didn't want to wake up with the fact that the price just missed my entry order by a couple of pips. And it indeed went exactly to my target area and bounced. So that was good. I was happy with that. It's up about 42 at the moment. So this too looking like a continuation to me, where we have basically upside, pullback, continue. My target for this EuroCAD, I'm using a bit bigger fib. I'm using this fib, where we had, I think, if I remember correctly, where we are using basically this 50% bounce, and that target is 153.80. Let me check. Yes, I have a target at 153.72. 10 pips below the minus 272. $153.72. So that's the CAD side of things. Let's take a look at the Aussie. Mohammed is asking about the odd USD. Ian, the MAs are 34. Well, let me write that down for you. In fact, that's easier. Let me first go to the Aussie. And let's take a look at this hourly perspective. All right. Then I'm going to quickly write those EMAs. Good. So the Aussie, yesterday we talked about the Aussie not having much potential before it reaches resistance. And remember yesterday I said that most likely the 88 to 88.10 zone would be the resistance. Well, it was almost precise, but it did go to 88.20, and then we did get that bull flag I was talking about. Remember? I said most likely it's going to, when it was here, I didn't see much sense in buying it because it's just had a few pips left before I expected a bull flag, and then I said a break of that bull flag would still be a good buy with this trend up to the red resistance. So that did turn out to be true. That's what happened indeed. We only extended a bit further with this upside. At the first moment to 88.20, the bull flag did happen, and the break of the bull flag was a good, decent buy. The second break, though, the second move up, I was thinking it could go maybe a bit higher, but I did say that this red line is a potential stopping spot anywhere between the 38.2 and the 50, and it did stop right at the 38.2 at 88.25. That's this purple fib here. So that was precise, right? I just show you this so that you can see how you can use fibs to your advantage. Up, down, up, precisely correct on this odd USD. And now we hit the 38.2. That, in my opinion, is a reversal potential back into the downtrend direction. This is a sturdy fib level. So that looks like a decent turning spot for a reversal trade to the downside. This is a decent channel on the 1 hour, and we have a reversal potential here back into the bigger downtrend. Right? From a 4 hour perspective, 1 hour perspective, by the way, let me just quickly take this away. Good. 4 hour perspective, we see still the potential of this to be a downtrend, and this upside could all be just a hook back for more downside. A hook back to previous support, which is now maybe resistance on the daily. So if we then zoom into the 4 hour again, what do we see here? A channel that could be corrective, bringing price back to the resistance, and if we then zoom into the 1 hour, then we can see that a break of that channel could be very interesting. So if we then zoom into the 15, we're looking for a break of that channel, I think. So let me just take a look at, got a moving average still support though. Let's put the other template on. You can see that we're looking for a break, as I said, of that channel, but the price is still above the moving averages. So this time frame it's still trending up. So the question is, can it break? I think the critical level would probably be this bottoms, or maybe even a fractal that appears here. Because at the moment it's still too early. This could still be just a correction for one more upside. It's still possible. and we can get the reversal from higher instead of now. So if we do break above this purple line, let's make that magenta. Right? These are the two lines in the sand, approximately. If we break purple, we have a good chance of a reversal / continue downtrend daily. If we break above magenta, we have a continuation possibility of this correctional channel. So where could that break of magenta go to if we put a fib back on? It could go to the 786 at 88.40 or 88.60. Right? So there's not much space. So down to the 15, you can see that there is really not much space to the upside here. Small green circles. And more power, more momentum, I think, possible to the downside. So let's see, will the short-term pressure of upside continue to test higher resistances, or is this consolidation just a first signal of reversal, and will we get the confirmation by breaking this channel to the downside? That's the question. So let's see. Let's take a look at the dollar yen. Dollar yen had is this a gap? Funny. This is just not sure what happened here. But anyhow, maybe there was some yen news. In any case, this is, you can see the 15-minute world is definitely bullish at the moment. Price is above the moving averages. Moving averages are green and blue. So the 1 hour chart, we can see that this is an uptrend at the moment on the 1 hour, but is this really the start of the uptrend, or is this just a correction for more downside? That's always the question. If we zoom out to the daily, we can see that this upside here was very strong, and we are now back to the 38.2 fib. That particular fib could be the resumption of the uptrend from here. So to me, there's definitely a good potential for this bounce here to be the reversal back to the upside. We were in a nice downtrend on the 4 hour chart, right? No, maybe not nice, but a bit choppy, but still. It made some good moves, but this could certainly be the end of that, and that could be the reversal for the back in the weekly, monthly uptrend. At the moment, we are back at the resistance level of this moving average. You see the green band coming in. That would be pretty key in my opinion. All right. The fact that we bounced off the 38.2 is logical, right? The fact that we then moved up to the black band, couldn't break it, moved back down and found support to break to the green band is also, it's all very logical with these bands, right? First to the black band, then to the green band. But at the moment, all that could be is a correction for more downside still. All right, so we never know. We would need to break below this purple for that correction to happen. Right, then we can still move up from there. However, if we break the green band, then probably a bigger move up is going to happen. So that's pretty key in my opinion. We would need to break above the 1 hour top here, 103.44 or 103.36, and we should see a decent probability of upside. If we look at the other template, you can see the moving averages are flat here, and the green is up, the short term, which means that if we push one more time up, then everything will be up, and this is more of an upside momentum. The 4-hour perspective, let's take a look. Way's saying it's like an expanding wedge. I do see this wedge on the chart. It's certainly a wedge. I think expanding wedge, then this line would have to be up as well. Technically, I think officially, but unless you're looking at something like this maybe, but that's probably not it. I think you're probably looking at these lines, right? But I do see what you mean. It does have an it's like expanding the lines. I'm not sure what the official definition is, in fact, 100%. I always saw this as an expanding wedge, but maybe this one counts as well because this is accelerating further away than this one. So we can even put it a bit lower like this to incorporate this top. So all of this downside could just be a correction, and now we move up again. If you look at the daily, you can see price is still above the moving averages. The weekly, price is still above the moving averages. So in that regard, it will be interesting to see whether we can break above or below here. I'm more bullish, looking for a break above to continue. Even if we break below, then I would still expect a bounce off of this support. If we do break this support here, then I would expect the currency to go down to the 50 fib of the same fib at 101.10. Then I would expect that to be a bouncing spot. The target, 107.50, roughly. And after that, 110, 111. Alrighty, folks, let's take a look at, that's the yen. Pound yen is interesting too, in my opinion, because the dollar yen seems to be in an interesting spot. So to me, the pound yen could have the same potential as the dollar yen we just spoke of. And if we break this top, I would be entering the market with a stop loss quite low at 170.30. That's below these bottoms here. So I would be looking for an entry here with a stop loss here. And I'm targeting pretty high. It's not even on this chart. And I'll be trail stopping the 1 hour fractals by 10 pips. So the idea from a bigger perspective, okay, we had already a serious bounce, that's true, but as I said, this could be, all this could be just a correction. We hit the 38.2 from the pound yen too. All this could be correction basically. So this could have been the uptrend, or this is the uptrend. This could be the correction down to the 38.2, and we continue with that uptrend. That's why I'm entering here, and I'm targeting basically this minus 272. I know it's ambitious at 179.60. Wait 1 second, I have it a bit different. I have this fib. So the target is actually at 179.65. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm targeting, I have a TP at 177.74, which is about here. So I don't go fully for the minus 272. I'm basically aiming the top of this trend channel just in case we fail to hit that. I know it's a big TP because it's about 630 pips, which is a lot. The risk is also big, though. It's about 120. So it's a 5-to-1 trade at the moment idea. But I will be trail stopping the 1 hour chart, so I don't think it will get there with the 1 hour trail stop. But if it does, that would be a 5-to-1. So the idea is basically to take a breakout trade here, to capitalize on this 38.2 bounce and continue. Of course, if you already traded the 38.2 bounce, that's great. Then you can maybe even add on a trade here if you want to. And you could have 2 positions going up to this target. If not, this could be maybe your first if you want. That's at least what I'm doing. If there's a tight stop, so that's why I'm trail stopping the 1 hour fractal. What I at all costs want to avoid is an upside, then a deep downside, and then again upside. That will have no benefit to me, because that means I would be up 2-to-1 and then still lose, and then still see the currency go my way. So that's why I want to trail stop the 1 hour target, just in case we get a bigger retrace of this upside. Because if I get that bigger retrace, my stop loss is in the middle of nowhere, right? The real bottom is all the way here. But I don't want to put a 450 pip stop loss there. Although the target is actually, you could see the target as 800 pips. But that would be a huge swing trade. Right? Trying to catch something smaller than that. So I'd rather use a tighter one and trail stop it tightly. And if it does break and go, great. If it doesn't, I'll just take a small profit probably. The Euro-Yen has the same, roughly speaking. This too had a big correction down to the 38.2 fib, right? It's similar. This too, we're looking for a break above this trend line for a breakout. So the Euro-Yen is something that we can make, or I will be looking to, investigate a bit later. First, I want to see how this pound yen is doing. It's closer to breaking. If that does well, then it will be up in pips. When this Euro-Yen breaks, the pound yen will be probably already up in pips, and then I would feel more comfortable adding potentially another risk, especially if the pound yen is at break even or better, primarily. Then I would feel more comfortable with adding a Euro-Yen break of this trend line with the target here, either the top, or if you really want to be aggressive, the 149. I know that's big, but the yen could have that potential in my opinion, especially the crosses. They did move a lot. There could be follow through on those. I know this is a reversal oriented webinar, but in this case with the yen, wouldn't be focusing on the reversals as yet. I would be focusing on the reversals back to the upside for the weekly and monthly uptrend continuation. Let's see. Bob is asking pound yen, how long would you allow to break upwards? I'm thinking, not sure what you actually mean with that one. I'm thinking, how long would you allow to break upwards? I don't get it fully. Well, the trade just got entered, so I guess if you're wondering how long would I wait for the break, that already, I guess, is answered because I just stepped in. But basically, if you're wondering how long would I wait for it to develop, maybe. Okay, the break just happened actually. Yes. Just got in. So that happened just now. How long this trade can take? Just a second ago, really. A minute. It was really just happened. If we zoom in, maybe if we zoom in, you can see it a bit better. You see? There it is. So let's see. It made a deep down, but now moving up again. Maybe the pound dollar is moving up. Let's take a look. But or it's the yen. I'm not sure. But in any case, it is pushing now. So I will allow this definitely to move up. You know, if it goes up and struggles, then I would be looking for a new 1-hour fractal. Right. What I might even do eventually is move the stop loss to here. You see this like ridge here, this small consolidation here, like that? That's what I might use. I did use the looser one with in the back of the mind that I could have used this one, but then again, what I like about using the looser one is that if it does break with a good force through this green line, I could already reduce the risk by half on that trade, which makes my losses smaller. It's always good to cut losses small and let winners run, so I can do that with that setup like that. Of course, you don't want to make too wide stop losses either, just to, you want a decent R2R as well, of course, but there's always that balance. It was just not easy, but in this case, I think that made the most sense to me. So, and of course, every new 1-hour fractal after that as well. Bob is saying that the yen crosses are consistent with each other. Definitely, pound yen, euro yen, dollar yen, all were at 38.2. So I was really looking for upside continuation yesterday, but unfortunately the moves were just a bit too choppy, and I had too tight stop losses. If I would have used a bit looser ones, I would still be in the trade, because I was buying it at, let me take a look. Yesterday I was buying the pound yen at 170.76, so that would have been up 60 pips already. But it's here. I was buying it here, but I just used it too tight, and this consolidation took me out. Well, you always learn from something, I guess. Euro yen 2, I was buying it at 140.62 here. So just a bit impatient maybe with that. Or not impatient, but the trade plan was not optimal. I was just implementing my trade plan, but let's see. Just a quick question, folks, for Mason. He's asking how he can add minus figures. So just take your Fibonacci retracement tool, grab it from top to bottom or bottom to top, then right-click, go to go to Fibo Properties, then click Add. When you click Add, write minus 0.272. Then in the description write minus 0.272. Add a percent in dollar figure so that you get the price levels as well. And then you will have the targets as well. So all you have to do is add those minus numbers, right? All you need to do is add minuses to those figures, and you will get targets above or below. No problem. So that I like that, because you have everything on one tool. You have retracements and the targets in one overview, and it just saves time. Instead of drawing two tools, it's faster. Let's see. Wei is saying the prices are really gappy. Definitely. I don't really worry too much about gaps personally. No, so it doesn't affect my interpretation, but how about you, Wade? Does it do you change your view on charts or currencies with gaps? I know that some people definitely try to trade gaps or to fill the gaps or trade off of gaps when gap gets closed, for example. I never really focused on that personally. There's not many gaps also in the Forex, so I guess it would make more sense in the stock market, maybe. Ravi is asking, how good are Heikin-Ashi candlesticks in displaying trends? I think pretty good. I like them. I don't use them very regularly, but occasionally I do use them, definitely. I think they're an interesting way to view charts. I don't necessarily have to look at it, but if I have a bit more time or I want to see something from a different perspective, I think they're very useful. Yeah, I like them. And Wei is concerned with stop losses when stop losses is triggered due to gaps, and I totally agree with that. That's true. And if you're trading 15-minute charts, that's why you don't want to keep trades over the weekend, because that gap could really hurt you, hurt traders indeed. And pound yen is making a bit of a retrace. The pound dollar, though, is breaking to the upside at the moment. But the dollar yen is not getting the follow through. So the pound dollar is breaking to the upside at the moment. But I'm in the pound yen and therefore wouldn't want to double our risk on the pound. I'm also in the pound CAD, so I was thinking slightly about this pound dollar, but I think it would be too much risk on the pound from my perspective. So but in general, this is breaking at the moment. Doing better than pound yen, but pound CAD is doing pretty good. I'm up 25 at the moment. What else? Let's take a look at dollar Swissy, dollar Swissy. Is this a channel to the upside? Yes, it is, but is that channel an uptrend, the start of the uptrend, or is this the start of, or the actually a bear flag for more downside? We would have to have a break of either this lower purple line or this magenta line to know which one that is. Considering that the euro dollar is an uptrend and the dollar Swiss is correlated, this should probably fall to the downside if the euro dollar does move up. Is the euro dollar moving up? It is. We talked about that already here. The potential of the break of this 136.70 to the upside. So we are getting some dollar weakness as we were thinking it could when looking at the structure of this market today. What else do we have left? Kiwi is just in a lot of chop. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not interested in that. Your yen, due to the yen downside at the moment, but pound and euro are slightly going up. The pound yen and euro yen are kind of like hanging in the balance at the moment. And odd yen, let's see, odd yen, difficult to say. Let's take a look at the bigger perspective. Ooh, a lot of things here. Let me get rid of those tools and just put a brand new chart on, okay? So the odd, of course, was going up, the odd USD. That definitely had a bullish effect on the odd yen as well. And basically, the yen was moving, the dollar yen was moving downward and up again, right? So there was some yen weakness and odd strength. So that's why we saw this odd yen move up pretty decently. Before that, we had odd weakness, but also yen weakness. But the odd weakness was apparently more because this was falling down. So we had more odd weakness than yen weakness, despite that both were basically weakening, right? No, excuse me, the yen was strengthening here. Excuse me, the dollar yen was also moving down. Excuse me. But we had odd USD downside, so the odd yen even flew more down, the other way around. Oops. So, but then we had yen, when the dollar yen was moving up, we had yen weakness. But yeah, and the odd had some strength as of late against the dollar. So we saw the odd yen maybe move up more than the dollar yen, for instance. Let's see if that's true. 88.40.91, that's about 250 pips. The dollar yen moved up from 101.80 to 103.40. That's about 150. And the odd yen 250. So yeah, that adds up indeed. Anyhow, not really that important. Let's see. The odd yen is different though than the euro yen and pound yen and dollar yen though, right? Because we had a very strong downside here, bounce, and it's been quite choppy on the odd yen. It's certainly different. Obviously, I'm not saying that this isn't a big upside here where we had, but it's more of a range, right? We can see that. This was certainly a good breakout, I'm not saying, but this breakout, after that we've seen not much bullish recovery so far. And that's definitely different than the euro yen and pound yen, obviously because the odd has lost a lot of weakness as well. And therefore, we've seen a lot of consolidation here and a recent break to the downside. So that break to the downside, this could be a hook back for more downside, especially if the odd is in that resistance spot, then this could be a hook back to the bottom for a fall. That definitely depends on the odd, and it looks like we're pushing through that trend line as we speak. So there are quite a lot of interesting developments. The odd downside here is one of them. The pound upside, the euro upside, the yen crosses maybe, the euro CAD, the CAD weakness. So there's a lot of choice. I wouldn't trade all of it. Of course, you got to manage your risk, or spread your risk. There are a couple of interesting situations: odd weakness, CAD weakness, yen strength, yen weakness. Sorry. So if the odd indeed does break that channel, it hasn't yet, but it's close to, and then it could make this bigger fall, then we could see the odd yen move down. But if the dollar yen would be moving up, then odd USD probably would be better than the odd yen, right? If we look at odd USD versus odd yen, which one would be better to short? Then we have to, of course, look at the difference, which is the dollar yen. Right, the dollar yen, what's going to happen with the dollar yen? If the dollar yen breaks to the upside, obviously the odd USD is better to short. If the dollar yen moves down, then the odd yen would be better to short. So let's take a look again at the dollar yen. And that decision is difficult because we don't have a decision yet on the dollar yen. We need to break out of this triangle to know which one would be probably more prevalent. Because of the bullish 38.2 fib bounce, I would think that the dollar yen is more set to the upside, although we still need to break. Even if we break this triangle to the downside, I could still expect support. So I'm more inclined to see yen weakness. Therefore, I would rather like the odd USD short than the odd yen short. although they are very similar in their perspective. But the AUD yen definitely has a reversal potential because this is the 250 pip uptrend, but hitting that resistance level, that could be the reversal for that. If we zoom in, what else do we see? We see a divergence between these tops, right? Look at the 15. Divergence between these tops we see. We see on the hourly perspective, we see a wick here. We see bearish price action. The 4-hour, we see a doji here at the top. We see bearish candles and hesitant bullish candles, I would say, because of the wicks. What else? Pound yen is making, pound odd, excuse me, is making a recovery. Pound odd looking for a break, maybe, for example, above this magenta line. At the moment, we did have already a rebound here. I didn't take that. That would have been an early rebound if someone took a break in here, potentially, like this. Doing pretty well now. That maybe would have been even better than the pound yen. Didn't think about it this morning. Cheers, Bob. See you soon, and have a great day as well. Let's see. Euro odd is the same, basically. Euro New Zealand and pound New Zealand as well. They're all basically, roughly speaking, bouncing. Especially the odd is weakening against the euro and pound as well. So what else is left? Dollar index. Bit of a headache at the moment. Big down, moving up slowly. Pound CAD is breaking to the upside, as we were discussing. The potential for that triangle to break to the upside. What else? How about the dollar CAD? Dollar CAD maybe not moving that much because it actually, of course, the pound probably is moving up. Yes, the pound is still moving up. That's why the pound CAD is moving more, and the euro CAD as well. That's because of the euro dollar cross there. How about the dollar yen in the meantime? Still hanging in there. So I think we covered all the majors. Ravi is asking about the DAX. We don't look at that normally, but I can give it a try. Just need to log into it a different account. 1 second. The DAX. Let's take a look what's going on here. Now, of course, this could be totally different. Tools could be used, but from my perspective, the minus 272 just got hit at 97.71. I'm sure that the 10,000, although, as I said, I don't trade the DAX, or the DAX 30. So you have to bear that in mind. But for my Forex, with my Forex analysis, I would say that, roughly speaking, the minus 272 is always an important key level. From a psychological point of view, obviously any round number is important. We're very close to 10,000. That would seem important to me. I'm not sure how high the DAX ever went in the past. From this chart, we can only see that currently the 9785 is the all-time high. I doubt that the DAX was higher prior to 2001. We can't see it on the chart, but I doubt it. If you know that, Ravi, let me know. But this seems to be all-time high at the moment, I would assume. But we can double-check that. In any case, the minus 272 plus that 10,000 number, the most important fact. So that could be difficult for price to push through this. Normally speaking, when we get a minus 272 target, you get a consolidation. After the consolidation, we could see one more breakout potentially, or we see a close and reverse, or we see the consolidation make a bigger retracement. So these are the three options I would say. Normally speaking, you see after the minus 272. So we'll have to see how this weekly candle closes. If we zoom in to how price is responding, basically it touched the minus 272 and it moved down. At the moment, we'll have to wait for this candle to close. We still have 3 days, so a lot of trading left. But basically, if this were to close, this is a monthly actually, sorry, excuse me, weekly chart. We had engulfing weekly twins. In fact, at that minus 272, we had a hit, basically two highs, a double top on the lower time frame there, and a weekly engulfing twin. This upside could just be a retrace for more downside, potentially, right? We did respect this level. Now the problem with all indexes at the moment is that they're all pushing up a lot, right? Or most of them. So all in fact, index have this very, or not all, I'm sure not all of them, but I mean, I'm talking especially with regard to the U.S. S&P 500, for example, and the Dow Jones, is that you see that they're in a strong uptrend due to the quantitative easing, and there is divergence, and the question is, of course, can this trend continue? Is this downside a retracement for more upside, or is this actually the start of a bigger retracement? And so far, the answer was always it has been more upside. Will it be the same answer this time? Difficult to tell, really. No one knows. But from the DAX perspective, at the moment, I would say hitting the minus 272 is an important level. Obviously, we're still in an uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. We have some divergence on the bad divergence on the weekly chart. Daily, we don't really have divergence here as yet on the daily. And this drop looks similar to these previous drops, and all of them got support, as we can see. So for us to really maybe anticipate a bigger reversal, a break of this magenta support line would be needed. Probably eventually we would need a break below the green band, I would say. Right? That would probably be the preferred thing to wait for. Either the magenta, that would give us more confirmation of reversals. Magenta or then orange, but we have a potential to break magenta, then fall to orange, and then maybe if we break orange to fall to lower. Of course, the 81.45 here is a top. That could be a support level again, so that would probably be the potential there. Upon the break of magenta and orange, let me zoom in back. No. Good. So for the moment, this could be just a bounce from upside. Let's zoom into the 4-hour. Maybe even the hour. Strong fall. Certainly a strong fall. Let me even check the 15. It's a bit awkward how this strong momentum just stopped and reversed out of the blue. Yeah, it's difficult to tell. I think that we're at the green band again, in 3 moves. First to the black band, hook back, and then to the green band. A classical retracement or reversal. So this either this bottom here like this will be important, or if we do break above the green band, we could maybe see more upside again. So let's see how the price will respond to this green band. Ravi is saying that a couple of weeks ago there was indeed a 5-year high, and after that it's just plummeting downwards. Yeah, that was a big move from 98 to 93. Now it's about halfway, isn't it? So we'll have to see how if it does this or this. Let's take a look at S&P. Dow Jones also made a big down move here, but weekly still actually making a potential higher low. And the previous tops here around 1550, 1575 now could be support. And we could have a double hook back, right? That's the question. Is it a double hook back, or is it just a first retracement? Right? We had a break, pullback, go. This could be a bigger pullback for more upside. Here too, we're at the green band of the daily chart. And the 4-hour chart, we're already in a downtrend. The weekly chart, we're at the black band. If we can break below the black band on the daily, the weekly, we have a potential to go back to the green band. That would be a potential below 1530, 15,300 down to maybe 13,900. From the daily perspective, we would need a break of this green band for a bigger downside. And then we would be in a daily downtrend. And the weekly perspective, that daily downtrend would be still a reversal from the black to the green band. Let's see, daily chart. Wei is saying that this could be an A. That's true. This could be definitely an A, part of the A correction. We move up for a B correction, and then we move down for a C correction. And that C correction could bring us, for example, to 1528, and we can then see again a bounce, and maybe then one more downside to maybe that 13,000 region we were talking about. Regarding the wave counts, I'm not too sure. Let me take a look. So a lot of extensions to the upside, but relatively quite correctively. We did have a big consolidation here, that's true. Yeah, this is weekly chart, so that's good. So if we look at that perspective and put a fib on this very last up move, we are close. We are at the minus 272 target as well. Let's see. This could be a 5-wave up. Could be. This could be one move on its own, down to the 38.2 fib, and then upside. It will look like a zigzag. The minus 618 is all the way at once. This 1689 is the minus 618 target. We were pretty close to that. We're just a bit shy here. Maybe that zigzag is complete. I don't know. That's maybe too big of a speculation. It's difficult to imagine that would be true necessarily. But who knows? That would be a big move completed. And this would have been the A, B, and this maybe would have been a C with 5 waves in it. With a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. Maybe not. It's always difficult with wave counting, but so that could, if that were true, there's a bigger retracement potential. If not, then we're anyhow. This could be just a simple ABC before we move up again. Indeed, so we'll have to see if we break this green or not. That's important. This level. For the moment, we can expect probably a bounce back up to test these tops before we move potentially down again. So the key areas are these bottoms here and these tops. Adrian, you would need to get an S&P 500 chart. Let's see. You would need a different. You would need the different account in a Forex one. And if you have, do you see indices here? If you click on this green plus, go to green plus, indices, and then S&P 500. Okay, then you need to actually, you would need to open a different account. You can open a demo account, open demo account, and open Admiral CFD. Then you should be able to see these charts as well. If you open that demo account, then you see oil, S&P 500, right? This is the S&P 500, by the way. It looks very similar to Dow Jones in that manner. Here too, if we were to put a fib on this very up move, first up move, here too we had a 38.2 fib bounce, and here too we hit the minus 618 target. I don't know, let's see. No, then you wouldn't have the Forex pairs. You would need to keep both. One shows Forex, the other shows stocks, I think, and these indices. Wei is saying that it depends on whether you believe we're still in a secular bear market. Yes, in my opinion, indeed. I must admit that I always saw this potential upside more as a correction. However, the upside definitely went further than I expected. So, you know, we have to go with the flow and only start bending with the trend when we see those signs. Although my view was more of a bearish view of a correction that never happened. Now, luckily, I don't trade too many times my view, and I wait for confirmations of price breaks and stuff like that. So that keeps me out of trouble in some cases, because this did continue to the upside. Ravi, I'm writing down the answer for you there. Just a second. All right, there. I pasted that answer in the chat. Mohammed is asking about the odd USD target. And if I missed any other questions, let me know. Odd USD breaking nicely to the downside here. It depends also where you have your stop loss. Where's your stop loss, Mohammed? And what time frame are you taking the trade? If you're taking it on a 15-minute time frame, then I would be aiming for what you could do is trail stop the 50-minute fractals and maybe have a TP at the bottom here, or let's see, around 86.80. 86.80 would be about 100 pips, which is a good amount of pips for a downside here. And trail stop the 50-minute world. If you're more taking a position trade and you're trading this with a stop loss above 88.25 and you entered at 87.75, which is more of a 50 pip stop loss, if you have the stop loss that high, then you could be more aggressive and you could even aim for this 86 level, 86.10 in my opinion. Or that's what I would do, let me say it this way. It's always your decision, of course. But so how are the others doing? Euro dollar is getting that bounce. Pound dollar is getting a bounce. Dollar CAD is steaming forward. That's great for me. Only the pound yen is not doing all too well. So that's the only one that's failing at the moment. The rest are up in pips. Euro CAD 82 at the moment. Pound CAD 40. Dollar CAD 13. Only the pound yen is down 60. Somehow the yen is breaking to the downside. So what can you do? You can't have them all. But maybe this is still a bouncing spot because look, we are at the bottom of the trend line. We're at the moving averages as well. So I'm hoping for a bounce. A bit unfortunate how it wicked me in here. The stop loss on the GJ I have at 170.30. Yikes. Should have gone above 170, 150. It's a pity. Oh well. Let's see. Otherwise, I think, well, we have to wrap it up. In fact, time is running out. And I will need to close it. In retrospect, the pound odd, or the pound odd especially, was a lot better than the pound yen, but at least I took the pound CAD. That's doing pretty okay. So with that said, we'll be wrapping up today. Thanks so much for joining. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget that tonight, Tarantula has a webinar. Let's take a look. Tomorrow we have intraday trading, and then in the evening, Thursday evening, we have oscillators exposed, and tonight you have price action trading from Tarantula. So thank you so much, and wish you all great trading today. Cheers.